let's get right into the building. Ooh. Look at all this. I'm gonna get to the motherboard in a moment. Just gonna get this out here first. This is the Wi-Fi antenna. This here. I got a few more things in here. I got some cable ties and a few different cables, which ooh. Let's take a look. See what we have. We have a keychain, a key ring, and then we have this. It's an extra clasp for like the SSD thermal pads, maybe? And a couple more. No, this one is a thermal pad for an M.2 SSD. Those were probably just like cushion pads. Cable ties, zip ties. This is a SATA SSD connector. Manual. Always refer to the manual. Always. Startup guide. Now, the motherboard, it has some weight to it. I'm pleasantly surprised. Ooh, nice. I'm gonna set it right here on the box because it's non-conductive. Now, before I do anything else, I'm gonna peel. Peel this. Oh, so close. Got it. More peels. You don't want the peels because let's peel here. Ooh, nice. That was a good peel. You don't want the peels because all it'll do is heat up your computer, and heat and computer parts do not mix very well. Ooh. It also has this here for releasing your graphics card or whatever is in your first PCIe slot, which usually typically should be your graphics card. But first things first, CPU. I've never once built a computer before, so I've done extensive research, watching videos, looking up articles, everything on building a computer, just to make sure that I don't screw this up. Little Intel processor manual. Intel Core i7-12700K. Now, before I take it out of this, just some pressure here to lift this up and lift this here. There. You should always look for the little triangle. I found it. Triangle's right down here. Should always match that up. Always match it up. Because sometimes your CPU will not have the words facing up and down. So you just gotta make sure that the triangle is lined up. Triangle there, triangle there. And drop it in carefully. Wiggle it around a little bit, make sure it's in place. Now, here's the scary part. Push that down. Push that in. There's a couple things we can do now. Personally, I kind of want to get the SSD in. The SSD is going to go right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the electronic screwdriver. Now, underneath here is another peel, which I'll get to in a moment. Oh, I found another peel right here. I'm gonna open the SSD right here. Now, it's got to get under here. Peel up this plastic to expose this thermal paste. Now, to insert it in, you just line up this notch and this notch here, slide it in. There we go. Now, twist this latch just like so. And voila, my SSD is inserted. Now time for this peel, just like that. Screw it in place. Screw this side in. Screw this side in. Perfect. Now you don't want it super tight, but you also don't want it super loose that it'll just come right out. Now that my SSD is in, let's do the RAM. The trusty T-Crate. Now, when I chose my RAM, I wanted originally to go RGB. I decided against it because I have enough RGB. So my dual channel RAM, it's DDR5 Expert. With the RAM, very importantly, you have to make sure it lines up before you place it in. Very importantly, never put RAM right next to each other. You're gonna wanna do the second and fourth channel. Some motherboards have a clip on this side, this one does not, so don't worry about that. Get it lined up, and then you're gonna have to put a little bit of force till you hear it click. On both sides. That one's in. That one is in. Now, same for this one. We got the RAM in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the CPU cooler in now, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the case. Now, up front, ooh, this is a nice box. We got this little phone that says, "Welcome to the Elite Republic of Gamers community." Woo! It comes with its own ROG fans. We got some extra cables here and some brackets. Now we got the radiator and the pump. We also have some more stickers. Woo! More stickers. And now that I'm working on this, I'm pausing on this. So I'm gonna set this right over here. Now, before I put the fans on here, I wanna figure out where I'm putting it in the case. Now for my case, I have a plan. I'm gonna pop this open, set this off to the side somewhere else. Now, I can pop off also the back side as well. Now, in this case, as you can tell, there's a lot of room here. There's also a lot of room on the back side too. Now, I believe, this top pieces can come off as well. Nice. I kind of want to put my radiator right up top, but I need to figure out a good fan orientation. Fan orientation, like intake and exhaust, it's better if you have more intake than exhaust, but try and keep it as even as possible. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep it even. So I'm obviously gonna have an exhaust here at the back. The back is the best place for an exhaust. Same with the top. Intake is typically at the bottom and the front, but since it's a glass panel in the front, you can't really have fans here. I'm gonna have it in the back. I wanna have my radiator up top because it's less path for the tubing, for the pump. So I'm gonna have this as exhaust. Now, I need to figure out if I'm gonna have the fans on top or underneath the radiator. I'm thinking I wanna have my fans, let's see, let me test this real quick. Because I could also put my radiator here with the pump like right over here. And in doing so, I can put the fans as intake, pulling it through the radiator. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Now that I have that, I need to make sure I put the fans on this side of my radiator. Since the pump is gonna be going this way, I'm gonna have the cables going the same direction so that the cables can just slide into the back of the case. Now I need to figure out which way is which. All right, so this is gonna be going out.
Are you sure about that?
Set this like so, and I'll do the same on this one. Same with this one. Then I will grab these screws here. Now I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna take these little panels off. Now I am going to remove this here. This is a SATA drive holder, which I will not be using today. Time to put the AIO in. Make sure the cables are out of the way. Put it right up here. Now I'm gonna be using these small screws to screw it in. There we go. Now, I just wanted to get the first 2 screws in, and then I'm gonna show you the rest. These screws are just gonna go in these little areas here. Now I'm going to plug these cords in together. There we go. Let's start with this daisy chain, 3-pin. All right, that will plug into the motherboard, but before we get ahead of ourselves, we've got to actually plug the motherboard in, or at least put it in the case. Grab this beautiful motherboard. Now, there's these little standoffs in the case. Just need to make sure they line up with these holes and also line up the IO shield. It's all lined up. Nice. Put the screw in there. Screw it in. But not too tight just yet. I want to make sure I get all of them in before I tighten it too much. All right, it's done. Let me now tighten these up. Okay, motherboard is in. Now I gotta put the bracket on the back of the motherboard. There we go, I got it in. Now I need to put the standoff screws into that AIO bracket. That's in. Now I'm gonna take this clear part off. This one has thermal paste pre-applied, which is awesome. Doesn't always come that way though, so make sure there is thermal paste. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off. Now, this cord here is gonna plug into the section that says AIO pump. I just gotta find it.
5 minutes later.
CPU fan.
1 week later. 1 eternity later.
AIO pump. Found it. It's gonna go right in here. Plug it in. Cool. Now, the fans. Where do I need to plug this into? It's gonna be, typically it's labeled as CPU fan. CPU fan. There we go. So I'm gonna bring this cord up through this cushioning here. And then plug it right in here. Ta-da! Push this back in here. Keep it nice and cable managed. Awesome. Next up, oh, I have one more thing to plug in. The USB for said CPU cooler. Let's figure out how it's plugged in. And this plugs into one of the USB plugs. Cool. I could also plug in some of the case plugs. RGB. Next up, graphics card. Take out these thumb screws on the side. There we go. Now, before I do that, I'm gonna open this up. Woo! That's nice. Ooh. Nice. That looks so clean. But something we got to do before we do anything else. Let's remove the peel. Now I got to figure out, looks like I just need to take out 2. But I also have my bracket. This takes another 3. Make sure it lines up with the PCIe slot. And there we go. And then you'll hear it click. Screw it in. As you probably noticed, I did a little off-camera work. The radiator was right over here on the side. Well, right over here. I had moved it to up here because I realized I had the fans. I want the fans oriented like this. I do, so it's better to look at. But I had them in a way that they were exhausting out this way. I don't want that. I want exhaust up at the top. So I had to move the radiator up top, which is not that big of a deal. I finished up the bracket and screwing in the graphics card. While I was doing that, I also decided to set up some fans. I didn't put them in yet because I was waiting for my camera / my phone to charge to put them in. So I have a couple sets of fans. As I mentioned earlier, I have these up here fans, which are all right, I guess. It's just they're individually wired. I also have these LTC fans, which are daisy chain fans. What that means is instead of the fans just, individually being wired, they just boom, go together and then slide together. And now these 2 are connected. And then this one will go do the exact same thing. And voila, I have these fans all together. Now, notice there's no wire. That's where this comes in. This will lock in just like the fans did and connect. Now it's wired. So this, I'm gonna have to do as intake. I'm gonna put those right where I had the radiator. Now I need these little screws. Now I'm gonna rotate this around. I'm gonna go on the other side and I'll go ahead and screw them in so that from that side so you can see. So I'm gonna put another fan. This one is exhaust. And put this fan right here. There we go. The fan is in. Now I am going to put a couple fans on here too. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Now this should theoretically just pop right out. There we go. Now I need this to be intake. So and now I can input them in. Now, time for the back. Now, these fans, I am going to use this fan hub here, which I am just gonna set right on my power supply, but I'll get back to that in a moment. For now, these 2 fans, I am just gonna put on this back panel It goes right on here as intake. Now I can put this back on here. Now, I was originally just gonna put this on my power supply, but that's a bad idea. So I'm gonna peel this and carefully, not to snag anything. That was a bad idea to peel that. I should probably have plugged these in first. I believe that is it. I believe we are now ready for power supply. Now this is a fully modular power supply, meaning I only plug in what I need. Ooh. Woo. Now I am gonna need a 24 pin connector, confirmed, because that's for the motherboard. Now you'll need to plug in the side that says PSU, meaning power supply. There we go. Now I am gonna need one SATA for my fan hub. I'm gonna need, how many do I need for my graphics card? I need 2 8-pins for my graphics card. So that's 2 PCIEs. Well, I guess for this one, PCIe. Huh. For just this one, I guess I only need the one. So I also need CPU, which for my CPU, I need 2 8-pins. Put the side that says PSU in here. And then same thing with the second one. So that's for my CPU. This one's for my fan hub. This one I am going to put in. Okay. There we go. Now, let me all right, I gotta plug this back in now. Now, plug in these PCIe cables. So, time to put some panels on. But, wait, before I put panels on, gotta make sure it turns on. Oh, there's some RGB. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh.
2,000 years later.
Oh, it looks so good. So, now that I know it works, I'm gonna go ahead and put some side panels on. Let's start with the back one. Just gonna hide all that. Oh, nice, just clicks in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this top panel on. Just like so. Now this front one, not the front, but this one right over here. Actually this top one needs to come off. This one, just like so, and then boom. Now the top one goes on. Is there any inside peel? Does not appear so. Now time for this front peel. But we're not done yet, because now we need to set up Windows. Okay, moment of truth. Come on. I wonder if I put in the wrong HDMI. It's not posting. Wait. Yes! Yes! F1 to enter the BIOS. Oh, this makes me so happy. Yeah, it's an old monitor. 26 degrees. Okay. I need to go to advanced mode. I'm gonna enable XMP later. Boot. Launch EFI shell from USB drives. Yes! It's doing something. Oh.
Gotcha, bitch!
Never mind, I'll be back after. All right, time to set up Windows. So I don't have internet right now. All right, attempt number 2. I just Googled a way to bypass the whole Wi-Fi thing. So that way I can at least get into, I don't have internet, cool. That way I can at least get into Windows so that I can get the drivers I need. Here we go. Hi. Getting things ready for you. Oh, it's so good. This might take a few minutes. Don't turn off your PC. I'm going to go here, restart. Now I'm going to go back to the BIOS and enable XMP. There we go. Enable XMP 6000, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, nice. I'll go ahead and set everything else up off camera, but you guys have a wonderful night. Enjoy your day, whatever time of day it is for you. Later. Nice, I got the CPU in. I got the CPU in. I'm on Windows. I'm on Windows.